Magic the Gathering is a collectible card game, and sometimes the Moxman likes to buy collections. Now, what did the Moxman just buy? Stick around and find out. Hi everyone and welcome back. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel today as we discuss collection buying. It does happen that the Moxman buys collections or picks up cards for the channel, and this is one of those occasions. So I thought we would go through this today, talk about why this happens and how it's done nowadays, because it's definitely not the way it used to be done. Cards nowadays are very expensive. Players who have paid top dollar for their collections, they really don't want to let stuff go. Okay, they want to either get more than they paid, which is the goal of anybody trying to buy and sell and flip. But at the same time, when they lose, they want to lose as small as possible. It makes perfect sense. But since a lot of the control now is on the buyer side, people who are willing to pay for these cards only are willing to pay so much that sometimes you can get a good deal. So we're going to go through a couple of cards here. So I have two piles here I want to share with you guys. We're going to start with this one. This is Nova Pentacle. Do you guys remember this card? So great. This is from Legends. Now, it's gone up and down in price, but if you can get it for under 20 bucks, I say it's a steal. A 4 casting cost generic artifact that says 3 and tap. Redirect damage done to you from one source to target creature of opponent's choice. But if you don't have any creatures, you're going to make those people pay. You're going to make them hit their own creatures. It's a great card to play in Commander. Time Vault. Who doesn't love a good Time Vault? Now, I know. Time Vaults don't come around every day. Vintage Legacy, kitchen table magic only. But in this case, it's good to have a couple of extras around. The reason I'm saying a couple extras is this is, of course, a collector's edition. Oh, let me get that down the camera for you there. Collector edition. These ones were up really high for a long time, and the price just collapsed. It went down to nothing. You can get them for less than 300 bucks. It's a great card to have a couple of. For casual games, for players who are getting into old school, this is one of those key ones for a Twiddle Vault combo you want to get your hands on. If you can get this thing cheap enough, even moderately or heavily played, this one's near mint. You can see the edges are all perfectly square and gold. If I bring that up into the camera, I think you guys can get a really good look. This one had no surface wear, no tears, no dings. A very, very good specimen for this card. So it's kind of amazing to have a card like that being added to my collection. Now, in the case of our next cards, and by the way, I bought these all from the same person, okay? So I got a pretty good deal on it. So our next one here we're going to talk about is, of course, we're taking a look at the gorgeous Cyclopean Tomb. Now, this one here, players don't really use it anymore. You can see in some janky combo decks in Commander. I have it myself. But picking up 3 for $16 each seems like a steal. Again, collector edition cards, all right? All near mint, unplayed, but when I look at this card, it reminds me of being a kid buying these things, okay? Being able to buy a real one nowadays, I think it's $45 on things like TCG Player. So it's still a very inexpensive card. Now, if you've never used it, it's a 4 generic artifact. It's mono artifact, which means you can only use it once per turn. And it says pay 2. Turn any one non-swamp land into swampland during upkeep. Mark the change lands with tokens. If Cyclopean Tomb is destroyed, you remove one of these counters each turn, but you get to pick which comes off, so it still could delay people. It was a great card, okay? Now, being able to copy this thing and use it multiple times in a turn, you could mess people up. An amazing card. I'm happy to have copies of this added to my collection of collector edition stuff. Now, everyone knows I love Force Field. Great card. Great card to have around. So why not buy, like, a whole bunch of these bad boys, okay? So picking up a slew of collector edition. Are they all collector edition? Sorry, international edition, collector edition, international edition, and a collector edition. Being able to pick these, I already have like 5 or 6. So being able to grab another slew of these, okay? And guess what? Not all of these are mine. Some of these are going into my Patreon giveaway box for my patrons, but I picked them all up at once, knowing that some could go there and some could be added to my collection. So it's pretty cool to be seeing these added in. They're, I guess, pretty much all near mint. I think there's 1 or 2 little tiny dings somewhere, but they're really nice shape, okay? Picking these up for anywhere around the $50, $60 US mark seemed like a real good price to me to be able to add these to my collection. And the fact that it's a 3 casting cost that says pay 1 and you lose only 1 life to an unblocked creature, that's insane. Okay, the power level of these old cards are just amazing to see. So I love it. Great to have added copies to my collection. So what can you say? Got to have a few extra. I should do like a thumbnail, just like showing it like that. Just boom, right? And that, I mean, I got to center it, of course, but you know. Now, other stuff. Because when it comes to collection buying, not letting people know what you're doing is the key. You want to keep things quiet. You want to keep things kind of on the down low, not make a big deal out of things, and moving your own way. You know what cards you want. Best not to advertise it. Best not to make too big of a hoopla. Now, I know people on my channel will hear me talk about it. I do give warning, but my channel's not some massive channel that moves the market, is it? It's a small finance channel that covers a lot of content. Now, these here. These are just big chunks of cards I've been picking up. And in this case, these are all legends. Okay? A lot of commons from legends. Now, the reason I'm picking up all these commons from legends, okay? Everything from Keepers of the Faith to Archers, is because the idea 3-4 years ago that these cards were all like $2-3 a card. Not a super expensive thing, but expensive enough. Oh, and this one here, Sarah's Cathedral. If you guys don't remember this card where it says all your white legends gain bands with other legends, these are disgusting when you put enough legendary creatures with all these different variation band lands into a commander deck. Because it could be a lot of fun when people who have never seen these things played. So I like to pick them up whenever I get a chance. But when we're looking at these cards, let me get to this in a second. When we're talking about these stacks of commons that used to all be a couple of bucks that I was picking up for 15-20 cents each, okay? US. And I grabbed them all over time. And they don't need to be near mint, because the idea of my channel is to accumulate enough of these old cards. When I do giveaways or I do complete collections, I could build sets of legends, and it's a big set, by the way, but you got to start somewhere and you quietly accumulate. Now, I have other packages I haven't shown people. I don't show everything. I've been kind of saving a lot of content up for times where I'm on vacation and stuff. You'll probably see some of it this summer. But the idea for me, picking up enough of these that are like only, you're spending $20 in total for a big whack load of cards that nobody else cares about right now, but we've seen in the market, previously that went up. There's no guarantee these are ever going to recover. There's no guarantee these are worth money in a year from now. But being able to grab as many as you can, as cheap as you can, at least gives your foot in the door, right? Lets you get in there with moss monsters, and of course the brownies, and of course some dragonflies. It lets you get your foot in the door. When you have enough of these colors going, and you have built up enough of these cards, you can start picking off not just the commons, but the uncommons. You can start picking up other sets of other cards from the series. And you only do it when there's a good deal. You only do it when you come out ahead. You can't do it when the market's hot. You can't do it when everyone's paying attention. So you could be waiting years in between getting these cards. But you want to get them as cheap as you can. And you want to buy as many as you can from a single vendor so you don't have big shipping costs or all kinds of convoluted fees to be tapped on. You want to get as many as you can. For me, I like to get between 4 and 20 at a time of any given card I can get my hands on. So I'll look for vendors who have large quantities of these cards, and I'll just buy everything they have. I'll just buy it out, because the more you get at once means you don't have to go back again. You can start building your play sets. You can start building multiple play sets, and that will gives you that range to be able to build your collection later and not let people know what you've been doing, because their eyes are focused elsewhere. You don't want to disturb the market when you're the one trying to buy into the market. You don't want to make people really aware of what you're doing, because it's not hot right now anyway. But if it becomes hot later, you don't want to be the last person to that party. You don't want to be the last person coming through saying, yeah, I want to get these cards. Oh my goodness, they've become too expensive. I can't touch them now. That's just the way it can be played. So you got to be smart about it. You got to be stealthy, and you got to be quiet. There's a lot of people who reach out to me to buy collections. I get it all the time. And they ask me, is Moxman the guy? And I'm not. Okay? That's the simple answer for most people. Yes, I have collections of cards. Yes, I have a lot of old stuff. And in the future, within the next year, I will start accumulating larger positions of cards. It's about a year away. Goals in hand, depends on how things go. And I'll be collecting a lot of those cards for people on my channel, as well as myself. But that's another story. We'll get to that some later date. I'll have to make a big deal out of that now in case things don't work out the way you hope they will. This one hasn't been opened yet. Hold on. This one hasn't been opened. So, this one here. Remember when I was getting all those cards from the dark? There you go. There's the bog rats, right? So you look at all these bad boys. That's right. This is just a couple hundred bog rats for 15 bucks. Nobody cares. But Moxman. Because with a print run of 65 million, let's face it, this didn't even put a dent in how many bog rats are out there, right? But what happens if I have a couple thousand bog rats? Did I make a dent in the market then? Does it matter? I mean, this is a 1/1 creature that can't be blocked by walls. Does anybody even care about bog rats? No. But people who might want collections, people may want to build a collection, now I can help them out. People on my channel can have access to things like this that maybe they couldn't before. And I like the idea of that. So when it comes to collection buying, I buy them for a lot of reasons. The key, of course, is always price, guys. You want the best price that you can possibly get for your card. You want to get as cheap as you can. And depending on why that person is selling, depending on why they're going out of their way, that is something that you can take advantage of, come out ahead. You know, I mean, you let them know, you be honest, you tell them why you're doing what you're doing, and you make sure that they're aware of it, and you leave it at that. Okay, that's the easiest way I can put it. You put your hand on the table and tell them what you're willing to pay based on what they got. They'll say yes or no, and that's just the way it is. So it's one of those things I always pay attention to when somebody sends me a deal that looks fairly decent. But a lot of times I have to turn them down because, you know, the Mox Man's pocketbook is not that big. But hopefully in the future it'll get bigger. And as it gets bigger, we'll add more cards, more collections, and we'll get things going. But either way, thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed looking at the cards I bought up. And you know what? If you're one of my patrons, congratulations. Some of these things are going in the box. Others are for my personal collection. But either way, it's a lot of fun. Magic is an amazing game. And being able to explore these cards and spread them out over time and add craziness to our collection, you know, is amazing. I love it. I love just adding to it and building decks and creating. So, thanks again, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great one. And of course, a shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons we have here on the channel supporting each and every day. Because of these patrons and these YouTube membership members, we are available to create content all the time. So daily videos are made possible because of these players. So thanks again for supporting my channel. Thanks for being here every day. Don't forget, guys, I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Have a great day, everyone. Welcome back to the Ramble Jamble. You've made it to the end. Collection buying is something a lot of players take pride in when they get a good deal. Being able to have liquid available cash to buy a good bargain basement price on some cards you've always wanted or wanted to expand a position in is something players dream about. And when they come along, you've got to be ready to strike. You got to keep your powder dry until the right deal comes along for the card that you're seeking. Some people just want to get dual lands. Some people are looking for ABU. Other players out there are trying to get, you know, the dark, antiquities, Arabian Nights, whatever floats your boat out there. Finding the right card at the right price is always key. And when a good deal comes along, if you've got the money and you don't mind the cardboard going to zero, take the plunge. Guys, thanks a lot for hanging out. Turn your Necronomicons to page 861 saying, "What did I just do?" I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.